Welcome to Trollandia by Marilyn Brancato and Lisa Marie Lopez. This book is dedicated to all children of the 60s and 70s who loved those quirky little troll dolls. Trolls were our pocket-sized, loyal, happy friends who would always join us on adventures of the mind. Our generation was among the last to play using mostly our imaginations, and our trolls set us free. I think trolls were especially treasured by those of us who felt a little out of sync with other kids. We couldn't identify with the perfection of Barbie. Baby dolls were boring and kind of creepy, but trolls were not dolls. They were friends, and it was always, "Where shall we go today?" There were several major brands back then, like Dam, Scandia House, and Unita's Wishnicks. They were in all the stores, smiling at us through plastic boxes with those big sparkly eyes and luxurious hair, promising to bring us good luck. I would plead. I might even make a scene.
Please, I love him, Mama. Get him for me. Pretty, 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 please, with sugar on top.
My mom caved to that tactic exactly twice, bringing Napoleon and later Josephine into my world. Sadly, the trolls of our youth have vanished from store shelves. It's sad because the old trolls were unique. Each one had a slightly different tilt to the head, depending on how someone pulled it off the mold. Their skin tones always varied a little, depending on the dye lot and batch. That magnificent hair was Icelandic sheep's wool, not synthetic fuzz. And those twinkling eyes were glass, not plastic. If you want a troll doll these days, you can find Chinese knockoffs galore, but they're clones. The trolls with personality are now relegated to thrift stores, antique shops, eBay, and Etsy. So here's to all of us boomers with vivid imaginations and our beloved old trolls. And to any young people who pick up this book because they share our passion for things sweet and good and kind and innocent. We are overjoyed that you are here. You bring hope to the world. This big shiny book is just for us. Welcome to Trollandia. Part 1. Welcome to Trolltown. Who's who and what's what in Trollandia? Trolltown motto, as proclaimed by founding father Magnus Van Dam. His original hand-carved sign remains proudly displayed atop historic Golden Rule Bridge at the town's entrance. Dream big, work hard, be nice. Magnus Van Dam, discoverer of Trollandia and founder of Trolltown. At the turn of the century before last, renowned explorer Magnus Van Dam left the old country to answer the age-old question, what lies at the end of the rainbow? He followed the rainbow's trajectory through rain and shine. He tracked it across oceans, over mountains, through deserts, finally reaching a magical land he named Trollandia. There was no pot of gold, but the land was lush and abundant. Opportunities were endless, and there was no one there to tell him what he could or couldn't do. This was the land he had dreamed of. He built his home and settled his family in Trollandia's most bountiful valley and christened it Trolltown. At the founding ceremony, Van Dam proclaimed Trolltown's motto to be dream big, work hard, and be nice. He carved those words on a huge wooden board and hung it at the town's entrance atop Golden Rule Bridge. The sign remains there to this day to ensure that visitors and newcomers fully understand. Dreams are to be nurtured and celebrated in Trolltown. Meanness, dishonesty, and laziness will not be tolerated. With the exception of a few mutants, trolls have always followed the rule. Trolls are incapable of being mean, and they certainly are not lazy liars. It's just not in their DNA. Native Trollandians, Princess Singing Wolf, Chief White Bear, and Luna the Pony. A family of native Trollandians lives in the woods just outside Trolltown. Their forefathers inhabited the region long before the Great Troll Migration. Based on archaeological artifacts and remains, historians estimate that they have been here at least 100,000 years. Chief White Bear and his daughter Princess Singing Wolf own and operate the You Pick Berry Farm. Strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries. They grow the biggest berries you've ever seen. And the taste? So sweet and juicy. The princess's pony, Luna, is especially fond of blueberries. If Luna gets loose, she will try to eat them all. That pony can devour pre-picked pints like bonbons. The farm is open 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please stop by, say hi, and take home a basket. Howard Huggs, filthy rich genius inventor. They called him crazy. He was a recluse who let his toenails grow way too long, but he was the richest troll in the old country, and he was a genius. Howard Huggs invented all kinds of things, but the most consequential was a gigantic floating wooden airplane. It could fit every troll in the land, plus some. Many trolls called Howard's plane the oak joke, but he showed them it was Howard's craft that carried them all to Trollandia during the Great Troll Migration. However crazy Howard may have been, his craft was the Ark, and he was the Noah of his time. Jack and Elmer, the Soul Men of Trolltown. The Soul Men of Trolltown, Jack and Elmer, have a standing gig at Giggles every weekend. Giggles is the grooviest nightclub in all of Dam County. The venue also serves as Trolltown's most popular coffee shop every day until sunset. As soon as the sun hits the horizon, the place magically transforms into a boogie wonderland. The brothers sing and dance and tell jokes between songs. The house is always packed. The food is great, and the drinks will blow your mind. Everyone has a ball. Now that most troll folk quit smoking, many have turned to bubble pipes. Giggles banned smoking a few years ago. However, bubbling is allowed and encouraged. It adds to the ambiance. Reservations are recommended, so please call ahead. Trudy and best friend Midge. It was Thursday, and it was Trudy's birthday. Trudy is Mayor Titus Troll's administrative assistant. But as everyone will tell you, Trudy is the real mayor of Trolltown. Titus would be lost without her. She sat at her desk watching the clock. It was an agonizingly slow day. The plan was to skip out 30 minutes early to beat rush hour. She would grab some Chinese food and a chocolate ice cream cake on the way home and celebrate on the couch that evening, just her and the TV. The phone rang. It was her BFF Midge.
Trudy, you need to hurry home tonight. Change into your shimmy dress and meet me at Giggles. No questions, just do it.
Well, okay then. When Trudy arrived at Giggles, all her friends were there, and the margaritas were flowing.
Surprise!
Before long, they were all blowing bubbles and singing karaoke. Needless to say, Trudy called in sick the next day. Nothing much happens on Fridays anyway. Titus can handle it. But oh, what a night! Miss Lizzie and a wise friend. Trolls are blessed with extraordinary abilities. Most trolls have at least one special talent, many have several. Some trolls create, some build, some entertain, some fix, some invent. Most all can communicate with animals. Some can interact with humans, and a few can converse with angels. Meet Miss Lizzie. Her BFF is an angel named Hope, and she speaks fluent insect and reptile. Lizzie loves to spend time with butterflies. As chatty as she can be, Lizzie enjoys listening to them even more than talking. Butterflies are very wise. Butterflies speak melodically. Their voices join together in mesmerizing harmony.
You gotta stop and smell the roses. You gotta count your many blessings every day.
Toads and frogs, on the other hand, are mostly lumpy, bumpy grumps. Rarely do they utter a kind word or partake in pleasant conversation. Lizzie learned long ago it's best not to engage unless absolutely necessary. Miss Lovely's School of Grace and Charm. There is no shortage of beautiful ladies in Trolltown. Thanks to Miss Lovely's School of Grace and Charm, Quite a few have achieved successful careers in modeling. Several have become bona fide supermodels who make the covers of popular magazines. Their beaming faces and cheerful smiles adorn checkout counters everywhere. If you happen to pass by the school at around 8:15 in the morning, you will hear the students vocalizing through the open windows and doors. Every day begins with a posture march down the long hallway into the gym as the students sing and step lively while balancing baskets on their heads. Every now and then, you'll hear Miss Lovely's encouraging voice rise above the singing.
Okay, ladies, do not drop that basket. Chin up, shoulders back, and for goodness sakes, let's see that smile.
Gomez and Estrella's Dance Studio. The next event on the Trolltown Theater's packed schedule is the Trollandia Salsa Dancing Competition. It is the most anticipated show of the season, and tickets are already sold out. Trolls love to dance, and they appreciate the beauty of a finely busted move. For the first time ever, locals Gomez and Estrella will be competing. They have danced together for over 30 years. The partners run a small dance studio downtown. They teach most all styles: the classic boogaloo, the bump, the bus stop, the king tut strut, the electric slide. They have all the latest trends down pat before the Trollywood club scene even reads about them. The couple choreographed an electrified variation of the hustle that's taken Trollandia by storm, but they especially enjoy the romance language of the tango. Their passionate movements light a fire in their little bellies as they steam up the dance floor. Gomez and Estrella could have made it big in Trollywood decades ago, but they couldn't give up their mellow Troll Town lifestyle, not for all the fame and fortune in the universe. Most importantly, they feel it is their civic duty, their calling, to teach future generations of Trollandians how to perfectly and properly boogie oogie oogie when the grooves get funky. Best of luck to their competition. Gomez and Estrella will be incredibly hard to beat. Petula and accompanist Richie Trollmore on the road to Trollywood. Petula is following her dreams and is headed to Trollywood. Her big win on Trolls Got Talent provided the springboard. Now it is all up to her to maintain the momentum and steer her career to new heights. Don't worry, she's not going alone. Pet's boyfriend, accompanist Richie Trollmore, is hitting the road with her. Richie is one amazing guitar player and singer-songwriter, as well as Pet's bodyguard when fans get a little too enthusiastic. Richie is a big dude with a big heart to match. They do make beautiful music together, and their futures are bright. They have a meeting scheduled with a major label in Trollywood, so keep your fingers crossed. In the meantime, check them out on T-Tunes. Miss Vu, Conduit of the Light. Miss Vu can light up the darkest of pathways and send the boogeyman scurrying. She casts her magic stones to illuminate the way and protect all who follow. No one is afraid of the dark in Trolltown, ever. Amber Lamoon, great-great-granddaughter of Boone Lamoon. Amber Lamoon's presentation was about her ancestry. She showed the class old photos from her family album and told the story of her great-great-grandfather, Boone Lamoon. Boone was the very first Moongoon to live in Trollandia. Boone was determined to escape the Moongoon Queen's evil regime. No way would he attend re-education school in the fall. He had heard whispers of a land of color and beauty and goodness and light that existed several 100,000 miles closer to the sun. They called it Trollandia. He had also heard of something there called giggling that he longed to experience, and love. Boone craved love. He had no idea what it was, but he knew he needed it more than anything. Life on the moon was so cold, just endless shades of gray that faded into darkness. Even the light side of the moon was just a lighter shade of gray. If the rumors were true, Boone would somehow, someday, make Trollandia his home. The Resistance had secretly dispatched explorers into the universe. Their mission: find a new home for the good and nice goons. It must be noted that all goons are beyond genius. They had invented incredible technologies that were free to everyone and kind to their planet. The good and nice goons wanted to share it all with friendly beings who would provide them with a peaceful home. On the morning of his 14th birthday, Boone stowed away on a Resistance exploration ship. He hid in a cubby near the ship's cold fusion generator. Several hours after liftoff, he overheard a crew member mention Trollandia was the ship's destination. His heart nearly jumped out of his throat. Boone quickly mastered the art of giggling, and he ultimately found true love in Trollandia. He built his home and settled his family in a beautiful, abundant valley adjacent to Trolltown Valley. Boone named his new village Goonsville. Amber is very proud of her great-great-grandpa's determination, bravery, and spirit. If not for him, her life would have been very different. The Goonberg Cousins. A gaggle of moongoons popped into town several weeks ago. They are cousins of a local family, the Goonbergs, who hosted a big family reunion at Astor's Pond. The locals had invited their moon-based relatives, and surprisingly, 3 of them showed up. These guys are royalty back home, some of the Queen's most loyal minions. Unfortunately, they have been rather demanding guests. One might even say their attitudes have been unacceptably rude to the trolls. It was obvious to everyone that they still hold a grudge over the Big Brouhaha. The Big Brouhaha is that not-so-nice chapter of troll goon history when the Moon Queen went ballistic over her missing goon brains. The census showed a significant decrease in the moon population, and she figured out why. She was beyond furious.
That blasted Trollandia with their silly, saccharine trolls. They are so cloying and annoying, always giggling and skipping around. And now they've co-opted my subjects from the light side of the moon, that spineless, good and nice clan. I want my brilliant brains back here now, working for me, their beloved queen.
Thus, the Big Brouhaha. It didn't last long, but some of the royals still carry a grudge. It would be good for their mental health just to let go of the past and say lesson learned. Love conquers all, even gigantic IQs with high-tech gizmos every single time. Make sure to dress nice, though. Evolution and history factoids. Trolls can be traced back to their earliest forms of existence. Below is an AI rendering of the Homo tropian troll. Homo tropians evolved into modern trolls about 300,000 years ago. At right, one of the first moongoons to visit Trollandia and make friends with resident trolls. It was not a sanctioned visit. The moongoon royal family was totally unaware. The moon had been overtaken by a very mean queen, and they were fleeing for their freedom. They hoped to settle in a valley adjacent to Trolltown and coexist with the trolls in a mutually beneficial way. The goons brought amazing technology, and they were very nice and respectful. They always picked up after themselves, and they were dapper dressers. It was a win-win. The goons assimilated quickly, becoming some of Trollandia's model citizens. Everything was kumbaya until the Moongoon Queen found out. She was livid. Boone Lamoon, at age 13 and a half. In just 6 months, Boone will escape the moon and arrive in Trollandia. Jack and Elmer with Valentine's Day sweethearts. Another Valentine's Day. Jack and Elmer, the sole men of Trolltown, got off work at 1 a.m. The duo are the headline act at Giggles, the most hip and swingin' nightclub in all of Trollandia. Throughout their show, Jack and Elmer noticed the couples in love, holding each other close, slowly swaying to the music on the dance floor. When the clock struck 1 and the lights flickered on, the couples all vanished into the night. Instead of heading home as usual, Jack and Elmer Ubered to the only establishment open till 3, the Trolladium Lounge, down by the levee. The party there was still full tilt rocking, and packed with trolls still searching for sweethearts. As to how their evening ended, let's just say it was a happy Valentine's Day indeed. Petula and Hendrix, busking at the Peepsland portal. Petula and Hendrix spent the afternoon busking on the bookcase. When Pet takes a break from touring, she likes to get back to her roots. Hendrix likes the extra cash. Their nook is next to a cranny that connects Trolltown and Peepsland. That's in the human dimension. Inside the cranny is a wondrous conveyance invented by the good and nice goons. The portal is constantly busy with happy travelers and generous tippers, especially during rush hours. It is for trolls and goons only. People are way too big to fit. Missionary trolls visit Peepsland quite often to share joy and smiles. Some trolls love their people so much they opt to live there full time until they feel ignored by their peeps. Sadly, that happens all too often. As they age, most people care less and less about their troll friends. That is when trolls usually choose to return to Trollandia for a nice long respite. Life in Peepsland can be tough, but it can also be a very rewarding experience. Hendrix cranked his sound system into the red zone. He loves how the thump of the bass rolls into his body. Petula warned him he will surely go deaf. Hendrix doesn't care, as long as he can feel the boom in his little belly. It's like a magnificent heartbeat melding with his own. Sheriff Jojo T. Buford and wife, Deputy Bertha Boutte Buford. This is Sheriff Jojo T. Buford with his lovely wife and Deputy Bertha. Bertha's maiden name is Boutte. She's one of the Boutte sisters. They are French. Bertha is a big woman, just as Jojo prefers. He lovingly says his wife is built like an outdoor restroom constructed of brick. She almost always giggles at that, swats his little tush, and says,
I'll suck it to you, Daddy.
Jojo winks and replies,
Right on.
The Bufords are well respected in all of Trollandia. Bertha is a military veteran and a sharpshooter. She can safely take out a fly on a horse's tail. Jojo's peacekeeper of choice is a big sticky called Betty. Their munitions are jam-packed with tickle powder, which renders culprits harmless as they roll on the ground in fits of uncontrollable laughter. No doubt Jojo's Betty can pack a wallop, but she's only for show. One look at her, and meanies instantly turn into sweeties. Mind you, trolls never cause problems. In fact, the damn county jail has been pretty empty since the big brouhaha. But experience has taught Sheriff Jojo that beings who sneak into Trollandia are generally sneaky. Some visiting goons still have terrible attitudes, and you never know what those mutant trolls are up to. They are redeemable, but have much to learn. Such is life in the universe, until the glorious light of the magnificent rainbow transports all good beings home. The couple are the law in these parts. Sheriff Jojo reminds all visitors and forgetful residents to memorize the words on Golden Rule Bridge. Just be good to each other, all y'all. Mickey and Rhoda, the Troll City Rollers. Trolls Got Talent came to Trolltown and held open auditions. TGT was here a few years ago and sent our singing sweetheart Petula to nationals in Trollywood. Today, Pet has a recording contract and her future looks golden. This year, Mickey and Rhoda camped outside the Trolltown Theater to be sure they were first in line. The duo are known locally as the Troll City Rollers. Petula was their lead singer until her solo career skyrocketed. When the universally renowned singing group English Rose played the Trolltown Theater, the Rollers filled in for their no-show backup band and saved the concert. This incredible, surreal experience left the girls yearning to grasp their own stars. Mickey and Rhoda hope TGT will boost their chances of making it big, just like it helped Pet. They sang their hearts out and skate danced like poetry in motion. The judges were quite impressed. Now the girls are headed to Trollywood. Everyone in Trolltown is ecstatic. Be sure to watch TGT and vote for Mickey and Rhoda. Joni and Dylan. Trollandia University students. Joni and Dylan are students at Trollandia University. Last semester, they took a troll studies course. The professor lectured day after day about how trolls are treated unfairly in Peepsland. The entire class became very upset. They took the Peepsland portal and staged themselves on the east side of the Capitol building. They sang All You Need Is Love as they hugged every person in sight. The students caused quite a stir and made the evening news in both dimensions. The surprising thing was, everyone sang along with the trolls and everyone hugged them back. It was beautiful. The real lesson Joni and Dylan learned that day: think positive thoughts and be the best troll you can be. You will soon discover that love is all around. Bob Yang and Joey Yin. Bob and Joey adore each other to the nth degree. Their relationship stays strong because they practice the art of compromise and they try to live by the golden rule. For example, Joey takes Bob's mother, Pearl, to Gomez and Estrella's dance studio every Wednesday evening. She wanted to take a swing dance class but needed a partner. Joey's rather shy and had zero desire to swing dance, but Pearl is family and it made Bob happy knowing his mom was having fun. After several months of classes, Joey became quite the dancer, a regular Fred Astaire. All the ladies wanted to be Ginger, so they drew numbers out of a hat for turns. Joey now rules all dance floors, wherever they may be. And Bob, he keeps Joey laughing. Bob is rather eccentric with a wicked sense of humor. He will defend those he loves to the end, whether verbal or physical, and he's good at both. Bob lives life with passion and seizes every day as if it were his last. He dreams up fantastic adventures that they really can't afford, but he somehow finds a way. He and Joey have the times of their lives. Bob is Joey's joie de vivre. Joey is Bob's rock. They are not clones of each other, nor do they own each other. They simply treat each other with respect and appreciation, and cherish the time they share. And that, friends, is what love is all about. Eddie the Yeti. Eddie the Yeti lives a solitary life in the mountains high above Trolltown. His home is inside a cave, but don't feel sorry for him. Eddie's pad is so far out, it's out of sight. He has a big screen TV, a waterbed, and a hot tub. He also has a killer sound system that fills every room of the cave with cool jazz. He greatly admires Miles Davis and has his complete discography queued up to play. All he has to do is say, "Alexa, let the tunes begin." If Eddie gets in the mood for conversation, he chats with Alexa. She lives in a black plastic ball that sits on his desk. That woman is crazy smart, and she tells funny jokes. Sometimes he just sits out under the stars and serenades the goats with his saxophone. Mountain life isn't everyone's cup of tea, but it is Eddie's paradise. Maudie and Celestra, best friends forever and shoppers extraordinaire. Maudie and Celestra have been best friends since grade school. They vacation together, play team spades together, they meet at Giggles for quote unquote coffee almost every day, and they shop together. One annual event in which they take great delight is Black Friday shopping. Even in a blizzard, they will walk to the stores if it's the only way. First to the Troll Mart Supercenter, then the Troll Town Mall. They rack up their Troll City credit cards together, and then they cry about it together the following January. It's tradition. Glenda Goodnick, celestial designer and gentlewoman of the woods. On New Year's Eve at exactly 11:59 p.m., Glenda Goodnick steps out of her woodland cottage and surveys the stars and planets. If celestial alignment is not absolutely perfect, she grabs her wand and stirs up the sky until it portends a blissful year ahead for all of Trollandia. If Glenda determines the heavens need some major tweaking, the light show at midnight will be utterly magnificent. Troll folk oohs and ahs will echo throughout the valley. Yet another reason to stay up late and greet the new year. It's going to be a good one. You can count on it. Happy New Year. Stay safe, stay home. Mona Morosa loves Halloween and goes all out making things festive. She has the most impressive jack-o'-lantern in Trolltown, and her treats are out of this world. But for some reason, trick-or-treaters don't come around there much. She hopes a few will find her house this year, or at least one who is nice and plump. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Mayor Titus and First Lady Tiffany. Wishing you a beautiful, blessed Christmas and a new year filled with peace, love, and happiness. All our best to you and yours, Titus and Tiffany. Don't forget to dance. No, no, no. Don't forget to smile. Don't forget to dance. No, no, no. Forget it for a while. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is your best. Always. Everything went wrong, and the whole day long I'd feel so blue. For the longest while I'd forget to smile. Then I met you. Now that my blue days have passed, now that I've found you at last, I'll be loving you always, with a love that's true always. When the things you planned need a helping hand, I'll understand always, always. Days may not be fair always. That's when I'll be there always. Not for just an hour, not for just a day, not for just a year, but always. By Irving Berlin. About author and artist Mary Lynn Brancato. Sandy and I were best friends. We played trolls together as often as possible. We would riff off each other's scenarios, and our troll sessions could last hours. Time meant nothing. We made troll houses out of shoe boxes. We made their clothes from fabric scraps. I sculpted my boy troll's carpentry tools and golf clubs out of soldering wire from Dad's workshop. I used up all the wire, and Dad was not happy. We turned anything we could find into troll gear, and everything was fair game. My trolls were Napoleon and Josephine. Mom got them for me at Hobby House Toyland. It was 1964-65. Napoleon was a carpenter by trade and an avid golfer. Josephine was a top-notch homemaker and devoted wife. She made extra cash under the table selling her delicious homemade bread to the ladies from Troll Knolls over on the rich side of town. The couple were my constant companions throughout grade school until sometime in junior high, when my attention turned to more grown-up things like boys, and I forgot all about silly little troll dolls. Now, fast forward a good half century. I was retired, and I had the time to root around my parents' basement to see what I might find. Napoleon and Josephine were alive and well inside a box of forgotten toys. That little kid in my head bolted awake and got a wild urge to play. Now we visit Trollandia whenever we want. Please join us. We always have fun. Do your best, your very best, and do it every day. For little trolls and little goons, that is the wisest way. Next up, part 2. Riding the Rainbow, a Trolltown adventure by Lisa Marie Lopez.